Well, today we're just going to prep some baby back beef ribs for some low and slow barbecue tomorrow. What we're doing today is prepping the beef ribs for delicious seasoning or marinade. We're using a dry rub, and also we will make sure we pull the membrane off the back. So all I've done to date is just done a slight little incision, and I will peel that off using a paper towel for a bit of extra grip before I season it, and then I'll season back and front with our seasoning. I'll put the seasoning in the comment section, and yeah, we'll get onto it, and I'll show you when it's done. Okay. So I thought I should show a little bit what I'm pulling off. The membrane is just the bit of skin that doesn't really render down too well, and sort of can be a bit unpleasant sometimes when you're eating it. So it's just a bit of skin, cut an incision and then peel it off. It's easier to, because it's mainly fat, it gets quite oily. So if you use a dry paper towel, it comes off pretty easy. Alright, that's how you do it. Okay, there's the dry rub on the beef, and I'm going to put that in the fridge overnight and then cook it over indirect method over some smoking tomorrow, but you'll see that when I set it up. Alright, see you tomorrow. Alright, it's been in the fridge for 24 hours now, these beef back ribs, and we've taken them out about 30 minutes before we cook. So we're about to light the fire, and this will bring the meat temperature a bit warmer before we throw them over the fire. Alright, so I'm going with the snake method again. I'm using some coals that I've never used before. They're coconut shell briquettes. So not really happy with the sort of how many were sort of broken or in pieces. So I'm not sure if that's the people who make them or whether it's a characteristic of coconut shell briquettes. But anyway, I'm using the snake method. See how we go. Got a few in there that I'll light, get them white hot, and then throw them on the end here, and using applewood chunks. So method today is 3-2-1 method, so 3 hours over the smoke, 2 hours wrapped with sauce, and then 1 hour will be open again for the sauce to really caramelise and make them nice and sticky. Well, that's the plan anyway. Alright, so I'll get to lighting the fire, and yeah, I'll bring you back when I'm putting the meat on the grill. Okay, so you can see the coals are pretty much all white. So now we're going to throw them on the end of our snake. Now these actually lit really well. They only took about 20 minutes to get white. They say they're longer burning. I hope they are. So let's go get the meat. Oh wait, before I do that, it'll serve as a drip tray, but also to maintain constant temperature. I put some, it's a water pan, and it'll also help keep the meat moist by keeping steam in the smoker or in the Weber. Put our wood chunks on. We'll this will be 3 hours. And what I like to do is, because the wood is smoking over this side, I have the flue drawing the smoke out from the so I have the baffle that regulates or where the heat and smoke comes out of. I have it across the meat, so the smoke has to come out of the meat, has to go across the meat. Okay, so we're 3 hours in. You can see lovely ruby mahogany colour through the meat, showing good smoke contact. And now we're just going to put some sauce on. Today's sauce is Stubbs Hickory Bourbon. Because of the bones and how somehow I always manage to send one of the bones through the alfoil, I wrap it twice, and that will also help seal in the moisture. So that's how it looks when it's wrapped. And I'll just throw this back on the barbecue and or the smoker and do the second one. But this will be on for 2 hours before I take it off. Open it up, and then it'll be about another hour to let that sauce caramelise on top. Okay, these are the ribs after 2 hours wrapped in foil, and honestly, it is just like butter. Just like butter. So I'm going to give these a little bit longer. Just so we get all of that caramelization from the sauce, and some of the oil will get really nice sticky caramel bark on there. I'll do that. So this is how I open it up, and I'll put it back on the cooker for about an hour, but check on it just to make sure it doesn't dry out. Okay, it's been another hour, and these are done. Almost falling off the bone. I don't want to mess with them too much, so I'm just going to put them in a cooler for 30 minutes or so they can get cool enough to touch and eat, but also reabsorb some of that moisture that they have put to the pan, and also relax the muscle. All right, so that is beef baby back ribs on a Weber coal barbecue using the 3-2-1 method. Sorry about the lighting. Just realised I didn't get a shot of me cutting any of the meat. Oh, look at that! Already off the bone. Oh, maybe I don't need a knife. Maybe I need a spoon. Oh. I know people celebrate pork ribs, but there is something to be said about a really nice smoked beef rib. Very good. Happy queuing.